So these are the army painters, and they are actually 4 models, correct?
For Warhammer miniatures.
Warhammer miniatures. This one's the Insane Detail. I'm excited to use that one. So we also pre-sprayed the cards we're going to do with this clear acrylic matte coating. Make sure to let that dry. And then I have some water, I have a paper towel here, I have white paper that because I like to test my colors. So, and then I like to use just some basic acrylics. I like to use some of the Better Dick Blick acrylic paints. And this is a good one. Ryan, this is
Citadel Paints.
Citadel Paints from
Games Workshop.
Games Workshop, okay. And then just the cheaper craft paint from Michael's or Hobby Lobby, that works too. I just prefer the others, but you can use these also. And these are a great way to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is see where I need to start. I'm also going to use these paintbrushes. They have a little edge. I can take off some of the paint if I need to. This is also a nice flat brush that I can do some bigger areas with and grab some more paint with. So it looks like we've got clouds. So we're going to extend this to the edges is what we're going to do. And it's really fun to do. So we're just going to do a light gray around everywhere we want to extend the card. So let's start with that. So we'll do a little bit of white paint.
Grand Warlord Radha is not the first time Radha is represented on a card bearing her name. Radha, heir to Keld from Planar Chaos, claims that honor. Radha is a half-elf, half-human of Keldan descent, her father being the Keldan warlord Aster, and her mother an elf of Skyshroud. Radha was among the first of potential planeswalkers discovered by Teferi during the Time Spiral Crisis. Radha often opposed the xenophobic ideologies of Llanowar's protector Freyalise, and aided Teferi to seal the Time Rifts during the Time Spiral Crisis. After the Time Spiral ended, the repeated sealing of the Time Spiral Rifts has extinguished her planeswalker spark. After driving out the descendants of a rogue student of Urza, Gotha, from Keld, Radha became the warlord of Keld, succeeding to her father's place. She abolished slavery and has enabled the Keld to learn industries other than war. When the Gatewatch arrived on Dominaria to confront the Cabal and Demon Lord Belzenlock, Radha had been captured by the Cabal and forced to combat in the Cabal's stronghold's fight pit. When Gideon Jura arrived, the Gatewatch assisted in her escape. Radha then assisted the Gatewatch to find the Black Blade, which is currently in possession of the planeswalker from Theros, Gideon Jura.
Okay, so I need to start where it's dry, where the paint is drier. And I like to start by picking some of the background colors and just pulling them out before I do more of the details. Okay, so this here, we're going to try and mix that color. Some white, a tiniest bit of black, tiniest bit of white. So this is why I like white paper, is I can see if that's similar to what I want, but that needs to be a little darker. White and yellow on the edges. It is kind of fun to try and match the colors. I enjoy that. All right, make sure it's thin enough. So add some more water. I have gone over that a little bit, but I can go back and fix that when it's dry. See, it's getting lighter, so we want to match that up there. And they're clouds, so I'm going to use a cloud motion like that. Okay. That's a little more yellow, but that's okay because there's more yellow down in there. Let's add some of that. Some blue clouds in here. The little gray. Okay. There's still some clouds in there. Then there's pulling that white through. You can see it does not take much paint at all to do this. It's a little colder in here, and so the paint doesn't dry as fast. So it's nice to work with it when it's not drying as quickly. I'm getting my new paintbrush out. This is the insane one. Insane detail. Some details in here with this. Although, you know what, I'm not done with the background yet, so I will finish that first. I just got excited to use that paintbrush. So I'm going to kind of finish up some of those and then come down here and use my little paintbrush for some of these details down here. Just not able to get that the way I want it there. Just not working right there. I'll have to come back to that. Okay, let's come over here. You can see we keep going back to the same spots, but that's trying to add the... I want it to be thin paint. Okay, we've let this dry a little bit, so I'm going to go back in and finishing up the bigger colors, and then we'll go in and I get to use my little detail brush. So, okay, so let's go over here. There we go. It's better. Sometimes you really do have to let it dry in order to finish before you can go back in.
Her face is shaded.
What I'm doing is trying to go back in and make sure that the border line is like over there. Here you can see the border, so I'm trying to kind of go through and add enough color in there. I'll let that dry. I'm starting to take the paint off instead of add to it. Over here there's more rust color. You just have to keep adding more layers. Now we know. Pulling it into the picture as well as away from the picture is helpful. It's interesting because it's easier in a way, but it's also that showing through that border so much. I am used to working bigger, but there's a certain satisfaction in working this small. I can even see some of the border over here still. I don't know if you can see that. Bringing that through the card. That'll help when we drag it through the card like that.
Yeah.
There's some blue. Let's do that blue up on top. So every time I do this, I'm testing it out on paper. It's maybe too blue. I can still see the border on both sides. We're gonna make this kind of snowy down through here. Okay, gotta let that dry. Quick working it. Always clean out the brushes really well. Don't let the paint dry on them, because it will ruin the brush. Let's see what we've got here. Fun. There we go. I like that.